Hello, gorgeous star family. I am the magical medium, and welcome to day 6 of our 10-day challenge. We're over halfway there. Isn't that exciting? I have so much to share with you today. I hope you're all doing well. Please feel free to check in one way or the other. And I know that in the past I have, really pushed people away because I was on overload. I was getting multiple texts a day. It was just out of control. I worked with so many people, and I was so blessed to work with so many powerful light workers. And at the beginning, it was fine. I was just like, hey, if you still need to talk to me, after we work together or whatever, I'm like, feel free to text, or if you have a question or whatever. And then these, slowly turned into friendships, and they were beautiful friendships. They're still friendships. But I had to, at one point, put a squash on things because it had gotten so out of control. And because I'm a telepath, we were so open and connected. So I can tell, like, what, even if they didn't know what their intentions were, I did. And one can only look the other way for so long till I finally just had to be like, I'm done. I literally got rid of my phone number that I'd had for 10 years because I just couldn't, like, I had to disconnect from the world. It was just like spirit literally cleared my contact list twice, you guys, even in the cloud, everything. When it happened a second time, I'm like, that's not a fluke. That's not some fucking Mercury retrograde shit. Like, that is real. And so I took that as spirit was like, you need a break. You need to focus on you and your shadow and blah, blah, blah. And so that's what I've been doing, but still doing the work in front of you, you know? And I just want you to know that now I have more of a bandwidth to hold space for you in that capacity if we are meant to realign. If you reach out and I reciprocate, that means we're meant to reconnect. But if you reach out and I don't, it just means it's not time yet. Okay? But I can feel you. A lot of you have been coming to me through my dreams. Even though you're in incognito, you're still coming to me. And it's interesting because when Spirit gave me our title today, which is Ignorance is Bliss, I was like, ooh, I was in a completely different trajectory in my brain when they gave me that. Then they started playing this music while I was setting up this beautiful altar today. Yes, we're going to be working with the Making Magic Oracle, Priestess Moon. We love her. Anna and I both, like, I don't know how many how many decks of hers do you have, Anna? I don't know. And now it's like, I think we have all of her decks. At least I do. I'm pretty sure at this point. And at this point, I've also lost track of which ones Anna bought and which ones I bought. I'm quite sure she's bought more than I have, but thank you, Anna, for supporting the tribe as you have over the years. Really, all of you that support the tribe, thank you for the donations. Thank you for the phone calls, the emails, the texts, the love. I feel it. Thank you. Thank you. And to the new people, welcome here. You are welcome, and welcome back to those who are returning. But you're all coming to me in my dreams, and you're coming to me in my meditation. And my mama side from the south is coming out. Because I'm just like, I'm like, if we're ready, if it's time, reach out to me. If you don't have my new number, you can email me at themagicalmedium@gmail.com. It's in the description box below. It's magic like it's spelled here, themagicalmedium@gmail.com. And yeah, I'm very excited to see where this is going, what's happening. We are all so divinely connected, but we are all also on our own trajectory, our own path. We all have our own missions here. Sometimes we will slide into each other's lives and we will slide out of each other's lives, and that's okay. Spirit wanted to talk to us today through this oracle deck about ignorance being bliss, because there are so many levels of ignorance. And when they speak of ignorance, they speak it of when we say, if you ever heard somebody say it in an expression, it's when somebody, like, let's just say a group of people are all sitting together and they've got like a nice circle going on, and, they're talking, maybe they've got food and stuff in the middle of it or whatever. And you can see it's a sacred space, but it's maybe a public park or a university or something. and somebody's just listening to their headphones and blah, blah. They don't notice, they don't see, because it's not like the people are like next to each other, but it's quite obvious there's like a circle going on. There's maybe a person or two in between the people, but someone will walk right through it, right? And not even notice it. Maybe not notice at all and walk to the other side, or walk in the middle and go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, and then you just go, it's okay. Ignorance is bliss, right? Like, you're in your own world. You're in your own world. You're not paying attention, but we're here. You just kind of trampled through our energy right now, but that's okay. Like, and I feel like that's where the planet is right now. My whole body is a chill. And it's like literally that, like, ignorance is bliss. If people stay in a bubble, and in that bubble it feels blissful, then that's where they will stay. But there's another form of ignorance, right? Where somebody's being racist and everybody else is like, whoa, dude, like, what's happening? And do you just say that? Like, do you not, like, read the room? Like, look around you. What is wrong with you, And then we would just say, you know what? They're just ignorant. Meaning, like, they weren't educated to love people and treat us all the same, right? Like, they may have been educated to dislike people who weren't like them, who didn't look like them, who didn't act like them. I don't normally touch on things like this, but I'm being called to, so I'm just going to speak my truth, okay? But thank you, Spirit. But I feel like the Bible's like that. It was written by men for a reason, to control. And almost all religious texts were created to control, because this planet runs on love, peace, and free will. But over time, people came in and done fucked it up. Because they didn't care. They're ignorant. They're just like, I don't care. Your pain and suffering, I'm ignorant to it. Which really just means I don't have feelings for you. I don't care. It's not happening to me, so I don't have to have feelings for you. That's a very narcissistic behavior. When you look at a lot of religious texts, there's so much narcissism and ego, it's gross. I've been trying to explain ego to certain people recently, and I just finally gave up. I was just like, you know what? I get it. I get why my one shaman, Layla, like, she gave up on me, and she had every fucking right to give up on me. She walked with me for 2 years. I barely gave her anything. I mean, we had a good friendship and we did wonderful things, but I'm saying, like, looking back now, I know I didn't have a lot of money, but I could have revered her in so many other ways, that weren't financial. And I'd kind of become bratty. I wanted to bring in the rose chakra today. Or the rose chakra. Ooh, I love that. The heart chakra. And to get grounded in our love for ourselves and each other. But I just started to realize, disrespect has run rampant on this planet. And the ignorance has run rampant on this planet. And I don't know about you guys, but during this eclipse right now, I have been going very deep and studying with spirit and seeing what's happening between the eclipse energy and the retrograde energies, and like what happens in between. And I mean, just everything, connecting the dots with, like, really with nature and the sun and the moon and the solar system. Because even if none of this is true and it is a fucking matrix, it doesn't matter. It's about connecting back to self, to our higher selves. So one of the songs, I'll put all the music that came through today, I will put in the description box below. Feel free to seek it out. If it's meditation, I'll put it under meditation. If it's just for you to listen to, I mean, you can meditate either way. I'm just saying, I guess I could just say listen. You can decide how you want to do it. But it was called something like Meeting Our Higher Selves. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's what this really is. This, not just the 10-day, it's not just about this beautiful spiritual reset, but it's also about, in general, about what I'm doing here. Like, I'm not just putting out videos to fucking make money or to, you know what I mean? Yes, I need to survive. So I'm in gratitude for it. Thank you. Yes, I love that. Who doesn't love to look in their inbox and see they got a, you got mail, you got money, blah, blah, blah. And somebody sends you a cute note and says, thank you for all your hard work. I really appreciate you. I mean, it makes you makes you feel good, right? And you're like, cool, I don't have to stress out about that bill this month, or I don't have to think about blah, blah, blah. Well, that was an old pattern I'm working with. But yeah, it's like, ignorance can be bliss when we just keep taking and taking and taking and taking and taking without reciprocating. And I had this one entity come into my dream state last night, and it just really made me think about so many things all morning. And I'm in gratitude for them. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It just made me think about a lot of stuff. And so when Spirit said her theme was ignorance is bliss, I was like, that makes so much sense. Like, for me personally, it makes so much sense. And I think the darkness helps us to regenerate ourselves. Like that's what this whole mission of this whole 10-day spiritual reset, it's about us really waking back up to ourselves. I had another like intense heart to heart with my husband this morning, like intense, like things that were coming out that I didn't even realize were still bothering me or were still affecting me. But I was noticing certain patterns for things, and I was like, that's so interesting. And it's absolutely a form of PTSD. So if we are in relationships, and it doesn't matter if it's in our home, outside of our home, it doesn't matter. But definitely when it's in our home, it's going to affect every single thing around us, because our home must be our sacred space. And it must be a place of honesty and realness and rawness. And if we cannot be real and raw with each other right now, then we need to step away and go inward. If we are lashing out or saying negative things or feeling negative things towards other people, we have to go inward and ask ourselves, why is that affecting us? I've had to challenge so many things of my inner child trauma that I didn't even realize was still there. Things that I feel like, really, and every time I think I get to a point, I've said this, but it's true, I'll keep saying it, I'll go deeper and deeper. And that's what these cycles are for. I was looking at the calendar today because I was like, oh, I forgot to, I like to mark off the days so I can kind of see where I'm at. But I don't look at it every day. But when I'm working, like the last few days, I've been looking at it a little bit more. And I thought to myself, we started October in Mercury retrograde. It was going direct, but we were still in Mercury retrograde, which we all know there's 3 weeks, 3 weeks of Mercury retrograde. But then there's also the, however many weeks it affects you, usually 2 or 3 weeks before the retrograde and 2 or 3 weeks after the retrograde, I'm affected. So if we started out at the beginning of the month with Mercury going direct, but it was retrograde, and we're ending the month in eclipse season, going into the next month with eclipse season. Well, if you look at that in between there, there's a shadow before eclipse season too, right? There's always that, because it's the energy that's coming in, this kind of ominous, but also luminous, it's special, and they're gifts. That's why we have, even like the way they had me put the box there today, the box itself is dark. I usually like to make this box look like reflective and cool because, I'll show it to you when I pick it up, but it's magical. But Spirit is really, really wanting us to work in the light and the dark. And also copper is a really good protector. Another fellow, I don't know how they call themselves, but to me, powerful healer, gifted me this a long time ago. It's like one of my most precious pieces. It's vintage. It even says like it says on the bottom, it's like stamped like made in Germany or something. It's really cool. It's really old. And I think they found it at a thrift store for like $10 or something like that. And it's like one of my most treasured pieces. So working with our witch right now, working with our healer, our deep down believer in magic, that's what we need to do right now. And we need to allow the darkness to come in and work with us. Look at how the light from the candle is piercing, making. This is our time. It's like we are making better versions of ourselves. This is a calling collective of our higher selves. So moving forward, if spirit pushes me to do so, that's going to be more of like my languaging around that. That it's not just pushing the light forward as we're, working intensely through this dark as brave warriors that we are, but we're also, we're connecting with the tragedy of our ancestors, and also the growth and the sparkle and the light of our ancestors. And as the veil gets thinner, we are merely just days away now. We are what is it? Yeah, 4 days away. And I really am feeling it. And I don't know about you guys, but I am really, really feeling this ancestral archetypal energy of these patterns, of these relationships, of these people that just keep coming around and coming around, and our darkness and our light and our shadow, and just the dance of it, the beauty of it. But in this month, we have to give ourselves a fucking break. Not only has this year gone by so fast, and I'm like, whoa, my head is spinning. Holy shit, next week's November. I'm doing my best to stay in the moment, but shit, But I'm like, holy shit. So not only are we like coming off the Mercury retrograde, but we're in the shadow of the retrograde, the shadow of the eclipse. And during that, Scorpio comes in, and Scorpio is like the most blunt, like says it like it is, like, kind of sign, and they'll get you. They'll sneak around and they'll get you. My moon's in Scorpio. I know all about this energy. So the directness is what we need right now. And I got blunt and serious today. I was like, man, I don't want to repeat patterns. And when we repeat patterns of the same things over and over during these times, during these gifts of darkness and shadow that spirit gives us to work with, we can either work against it or work with it. But if we work with it, if we go deep down in there, we get to the truth of things. We had a moment today. I don't know if they're ready to share it yet, so I'm not going to, speak for them. But we had a moment today that I was like, holy shit. Where I was like, did you connect those dots? Because I was like, that's fucking big. Connecting the dots to where our trauma starts is so important, and that's what the gift of the darkness is. But if we just go on autopilot and stay numb during these practices, during these times, during these gifts of, if they didn't mean anything, they wouldn't mean anything. Yes, our hearts break when a fire happens and people die and whatever, but it's like we all live and we all die. Everything on this planet lives and everything on this planet dies. It goes in cycles of some kind. We are earth, we are air, we are fire, we are water, and we are metal. We have all represented here. Seriously. I have metal and copper. Oh my gosh. Is that I think I might be getting hail because I'm right off the mountains. You know what I mean? And I've got water in here for the ancestors. I've got earth, I've got rocks, I've got a feather back here from Rooster. That's from a dear rooster friend of mine that lost their life protecting their flock. I even brought in some lavender for some calming and some healing. Like, we need some deep heart healing. We've got amethyst back here. We need some deep, deep heart healing right now, you guys. Deep heart healing. And this beauty's back here, this blue-green kyanite. Oh gosh, you guys. I don't normally say prices, but for those of you who get crystals, you understand, like, this was like one of the best $25 I've ever spent. This piece is so magical, and I've called in our higher selves, and I've called in the ancestors, but also if you need to have any communication with anyone, this puppy is like, seriously, like, I feel like there's like a communication device in there of some kind. It's really powerful. But you hear me, you feel me, like where we're going with all this. It's like this magic that's happening on the planet is like really sublime. But also there's so much darkness and ugly things that, people are saying, or, I saw this recent shorts from Lady Gaga. If I can find it, I will attach it. I love this channel called Gaga Shorts. It's really great because they take out all these brilliant moments of Gaga's interviews, and they put them on shorts, and they always have something really poignant, some great lesson in there. But one of them that she spoke about was like about mental health, and it was like so like on point and like in your face, and she just like called out shit, and I'm like, that's fucking awesome. I'm like, we need that right now. We need these heralding energies. We're all superstars, but not everybody gets the mic. You know what I mean? So we depend on those who carry the mic to carry the words of truth, at least the truth according to them. Like me, I, you know, to some people, I'm some crazy fucking lunatic. I'm nuts. You know what I mean? Well, she's some wacko who lives off the grid, and you know what I mean? And that's okay. That's okay. I'm not their fucking flavor. That's all right. But to other people, it awakens their soul and it awakens their spirit. And again, even if it is not exactly the same medicine, there'll be something that'll be awoken you. Like when people subscribe and unsubscribe and subscribe and unsubscribe and stuff, it's just so interesting because, you know, it's like, I also feel like that's a form of people's power. Like, I'm not going to give you my power. I'm not going to subscribe to your medicine. I'm not going to subscribe to your apothecary. That's all right. Because if we all thought the exact same thing, it'd be a very boring place. However, there are some things that have been told as truths throughout history that are not true. And that is my job. And I'm a voice for calling the bullshit. Spirit would not have made me a telepath if that were not the case. So, with that being said, oh my gosh, Foghorn Leghorn. Oh my gosh, you guys, that rooster. Those of you who've been with me for a long time, you remember Foghorn, and when Foghorn died, like I was like devastated. But they left their beautiful, beautiful feathers, and I have so many of their feathers. Anybody who has the feathers that I have are Rusty, my friend, my turkey friend. I had a lot of friends over the years that gifted me their feathers. But there are certain ones where I'm like, man, if you get that, if you get one of their feathers, you are seriously blessed because there's only so many of them. Okay, you guys. So, Spirit, any messages for us today on day 6, ignorance? Oh, you're so cute. Day 6, ignorance is bliss. I just heard like one of my spirit guides like sing it like a do 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 do. Hey man, I really need them right now. You don't even know. Like, I've been going through the darkest dreads, like screaming, crying, like having these moments with my partner where I'm just like, don't you hear me, man? Like, don't you feel me? Don't you see me? Like, because I've really been feeling like invisible, you know, like people aren't hearing me or they're not seeing me. And that can feel really off-putting, right? Like if you feel like nobody understands you, nobody gets you, and you're just out on your own island, it hurts, you know? I told him today, I said, you know what the thing is that because I'm that person that is, because I am really strong, you know, people forget that I worked really hard to get here. I didn't come out of a box like this. It took me a long time to get this strong and this connected to self. And even so, I'm a fucking shit show too, right? Because I'm human here too right now. I'm going through my inner child trauma. I'm going through all of my stuff. Spirit's been putting these things in my wake, you know, about rape and just things that like, you know, and it's been bringing up stories like, you know, my partner and I've talked about it. They've been raped as well. And, you know, both of us we've been trespassed against many times. And, you know, it's coming up because we have to deal with it. It's like on one side of it, I know I'm this, you know, powerful light being and blah, blah, yada, 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 and all that. But at the same time, I'm like, it doesn't hurt any less or negate the fact that I was trespassed against in this life or another. And I forgive them, but it doesn't like just go away. You know what I mean? It's still there. And it's how we deal with it though. So what trauma are you going through right now that you're just going around like ignorance is bliss, like it's okay, like everything's okay? It's going to come out. And these dark times is when it does come out. Oh, look at this. Spirit says achievement. Number 30. Win the award, accolade, or contract. They want us to put a pin in that for a minute. So I'm going to put this back here. Put a pin in that. Achievement. Interesting how we've had achievement in the background. Remember one of the other readings the other day? Wasn't it like one of the, like the success part of the reading was in the background and they were saying like next time, next time, next time, or next spring or whatever. Okay, guys. Okay, Spirit, what other, do you want to, let's see if they want us to, do we want to read from the book? Do we want to read from any parts of the book today? Because this book has some really great messages. Okay, no. Do we want to read from any other oracle decks besides this one today? 2515, I believe. You know what? I need to put my glasses on. That would help so I can actually read. I can read. All right. Ah, yes. Oh, yeah. That was the right angel number. Okay. Spirit. Okay. Oh, I said spirit, and that's the one that came out. And look, it's got a, I burned it on accident. Ooh, listen to that. Talk about spirit. A gust of wind just came through here. Really powerful. Number 19, which is also the number 10. And they were saying 30 is the number 3 and 19 is the number 10. Okay, and it says, heavenly assistance from your angels and guides. Okay. Okay. We're going to keep going. One fell on the floor, so I'm not sure if this is the one. Is this the one you want us to read? Oh, yeah. Number 6, self-confidence. I see where this is going. You see where this is going. We've been talking about this. Strong self-belief and a sense of worth. It's because some of us feel like we don't, deserve it. Like we don't deserve to have a certain life, or we don't deserve to have that achievement. We feel that fire and that light inside of us, but we don't want to push it out. I'm just going to be frank with you guys because, I don't always share my personal stuff, but they've been asking me to, so I'm going to. 2648. One of the things that I have a hard time with is intimacy. And my whole life, I've longed for this kind of, like every time I would see people, I'd be like, hey, and like give them a hug. And I couldn't wait to hug somebody. And certain people would have good energy and we'd like hug for a minute and we'd like kind of like rub off on each other or whatever. But I didn't realize how much I was like looking for love, searching for attention, affection, all the things that I longed for as a child, all the things that I didn't get, but I really needed. Also, they wanted me to point out that the achievement was number 30, but if you take away the 0, it's a 3, and the self-confidence is a number 6. Oh, thank you, Spirit. Did you see that fairy come through? Thank you, angels. Thank you, Spirit. They're saying that you will get to that achievement, but you must double the confidence, right? You need 2 of 3 to make 6. So you have to have double the confidence to get to the achievement. I know that doesn't make sense because it's like you're going backwards in a way. But I feel like that's going to mean something in a minute. But yeah, I mean, it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. And then I all these things started coming through with Spirit, and we were having these really deep conversations about our family and abuse and neglect and just all of these different things. And then it hit me. I just bawled my fucking eyes out and I go, oh my God. Because I told him, I said, if we're in the house by my birthday and we're like settled and we like have a pattern, like we're good and everything, my birthday's December 13th. I said, then if it's in the greatest and highest good of everything, I'm like, then I want to go to the shelters on my birthday and I want to get a dog. And that's what I want for my birthday. And that's what I told him. And that's what I told Spirit. And I've been talking about it and I've been looking and things on Craigslist, and I'll see like, a free, they have them free too, because I'm not above taking, and, I saw this elder dog and I was like, oh, I was like, I'll take them, and it occurred to me today. I said, I go, I know why I want a dog. And he said, why? And I go, because they just love you unconditionally. And every animal I ever rescued, especially the dogs that I rescued, there's just a different love and a different bond there, especially because I always go to the kill shelters. And, it's like they know, they smell it. They smell death. They are in gratitude. They're so grateful. They're like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Like whatever their life was before, they're like, they know that like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go live with this awesome person. thank you, Spirit, you know? And I looked at him and I said, because I need something. I love Bubba and she lets me hug her and love on her and things like that. But she is her own entity too. She's not very lovey dovey. She is, you are Bubba, but only when she wants to be. She's here. But only when she wants to on her terms. And that's fine, you know? But I've only really had one love relationship that was reciprocated where we just doted on each other all the time and it was just a really beautiful relationship, but there were other problems and blah blah blah. But the one thing it taught me was that I had all my relationships before that were unhealthy. And that's what I really wanted, was somebody who, when I'm upset, they're like, "Oh gosh, are you okay? Like, what's going on?" You know, and my partner just wasn't raised with that, you know, and so, and I really wasn't either. My family was kind of like, you know, buck up, kid, stop being a wimp, or, you know, don't be a pussy, like fucking man up, like, you know, just, it was just, and it was this weird thing, you know, it's like, oh, you're just a girl, or go cry about it, or it was like 1 minute I'm a girl, go cry about it, the next minute it's like, you know, man up and fucking, oh, it's a scratch, big deal, you don't need stitches, you know. But not like a, oh, you hurt yourself, that's okay, come on, let's go work, you know. It's like my parents, it was just interesting, you know. You just realize how much our families, our friends, our teachers, you could have a great family, but you have one teacher that breaks you down when you're in third grade every fucking day. You know what I mean? It's like, and you tell your parents but nobody really listens to you. It's like that shit forms us. All of it forms us. And so I told him, I was like, I love you. I love you so much. Like, I love our relationship. I love so much of our relationship. I'm like, but I go, I'm seeking out a dog because I feel like I need that kind of love. And I don't get it from you and Bubba. And then I thought to myself, that's some fucking heavy shit. And so I was like, we kind of like, you know, he went up to the cabin to do some stuff today and I'm down here. And, you know, it's not like I want to break up or anything. I was just like, I just think you need to realize like certain things have to change, or because he'll go in phases, you know, and he'll love on me or whatever. And then, but it's like, I have to get to the point where I'm crying or I'm upset or I'm like, dude, you've been ignoring me, or you're, you know, because, you know, a kiss hello, a kiss goodbye, snuggle in bed, a snuggle to watch a movie. It's like, that's beautiful. I feel blessed to have those things, right? But at the same time, when I'm in my saddest and my darkest moments, it's like, he's like, what? Like he's looking on his phone. It's like it's like he's devoid of emotion. And I don't think that's just a quote unquote, people are like, oh, that's a guy thing. And I'm like, no, it's not. Women do it too, you know, and I think it comes from somewhere. And I don't think we're programmed to be like that. I can self-soothe. I self-soothe all day long. I don't have any friends or family, really. I mean, not really. I have, you guys are my soul tribe and I love you. And I think of you as my family. And we have friendships, but I don't really have someone that I can talk to all the time. I don't really have someone, you know, and I'm okay with that. But at the same time, I'm like, I think if I were just living by myself with like Bubba and a dog, I would totally be okay. And I said, knowing that about myself and really digging down deep and realizing that about myself made me realize that as much as I love Alder, I'm like, I don't need him and I don't want drama anymore. And I don't want, like, when I'm sad, like to feel even more sad that my partner could give a fuck that I'm sad. I'm like, that to me is so depressing. That in itself is sad. And I don't want to be like that. And I don't believe that he's like that. But because I've seen him be really caring and tender and loving and supportive and wonderful. But there's something connected there that when I'm upset, he just like disconnects, like whoop, like just literally clips my string of my balloon. Bye-bye. And it totally fucks with my self-confidence. But it does make me go closer to spirit. And that's why I know for myself, I'm getting closer to achieving my goals. And I told him, I said, if we're just in this for like a friendship or like this is a business thing, I'm like, I'm totally fine with it. I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to be in this like faux relationship. I'd rather be alone and get pets and plants and love spirit and do this work because I love my work and I love doing this stuff for you guys. I really am okay. and can go out into gatherings and give hugs and have friendships and have, but I'm like, I don't even feel like I have the capacity to do that while I'm doing this work at this time of my life. And maybe that's okay. And I'm realizing that I'm changing and that things are, and maybe I just need to call in the right people or new elders for me to work with and things like that. 3505. But what I realized with him was I would rather be on my own and be in my joyful, happy state and then attract the right person to me that does know how to love me, that does, because I'm like, dude, after 7.5 years, if you still don't now know how to, like, when I'm having a really rough time and I'm crying and like, you just don't even like, it doesn't even cross your mind to come over and like give me a hug or be like, it's okay, dude, you're gonna be okay. Sometimes we need that. Like I said, it's important to self-soothe, but also, it's like there's a point where sometimes we need it. We need a hug, we need help, we need love. It's like I can hug Bubba. Like she's gotten much better. But I was like, yeah, that's what I was seeking, like the love of a dog. Like the unconditional love of a dog. And I was like, if it's meant to be, it'll come on my birthday, And if not, it won't. But I had to go through all this dark shit. This is stuff that he and I have been going through. And today when we were having the same, I go, that is what Spirit is trying to show us. That's when they said, there you go. Like, bam, that's your fucking episode today. And I always tell you guys, we have to get through it to get to it. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you my fucking life is perfect and everything. It's not. Do we have great love for each other? Do we, yes. Do I think we can work through this and move forward? Yes. And I even said to him, I go, we are in a horrible place. Like we've been living in these conditions for 4 months. It's intense. We're so close to getting into our house. We had another little setback that like kind of freaked me out, but now Alder's working on it and he's fixing it because that's what he does. And he's awesome that way. And that way he is. And that's what I said. I go, are you a great provider and friend? And you know what I mean? I was like, and taking care of me and Baba. I'm like, yes. I'm like, but I need all of it. I need the love too. I need the affection. I need the support. I need to not have you go into zombie mode when I'm having an emotional, I shouldn't have to go hide away or hide myself away in my own fucking home. I'm like, how hard is it for you to be like, oh, wow, I can see you're like breaking down, do you want to talk about it? What? It's like anything. I'm like, God, it's called support, man. I'm like, you don't just get to come in and leave. And you know what I mean? It's like, because at home, he'll come home at night. He's like, hey, baby, and it's like, and here's me working on chili, sometimes for 2 days. It's like, and I'm cooking every day. And I said to him, I'm like, I ain't nobody's fucking bitch, dude. I'm like, I love doing that. I love to cook and bake. That's like my kitchen witch all day long. But I don't want to have to do shit. And I feel like I've been in this like robot mode for months now. Not even. I mean, those of you who've been walking with me, like I've been going through this for years. This experience is like, it's like Big Camper, but like worse. It's bigger and it's in a more beautiful place and quiet. It's that like those things are perky, awesome. But, there's other things about it that aren't good. Like we have no electricity. We have no running water. So like I have to like boil water every day to do dishes. I mean, it's just like every day of like me doing this and like making the food. And, when we first moved here, we were like going out to eat and we were like doing certain things because we hadn't done things in forever. And we finally like caught up financially. And it was like, I mean, not every day, but it was like once a week, it's like, cause we were working on the cabin and doing stuff. So we'd have like once a week, we're like, oh, and we share like one meal and an appetizer. It's not like we go fucking balls to the wall, but because we want to put our money sensibly into the cabin and where things have to go. But I told him, I go, we haven't been on an adventure and I don't even know how long. And when I don't know how long, that's too long. And I said, and like, I have like cooked every fucking meal and like done like all of our food for, I don't remember the last time we ate out, every single day. And I go, and I have to like get the water and like, I mean, it's like, I really get it. Like, it's like living in a third world country. And now I'm not living in a third world country because this is temporary, but it makes me realize, and like my heart goes out to them. Like we are fucking spoiled and ignorance is bliss. And this isn't like a tongue lashing for all of us. It's just that Spirit wants us to for us not to take our, certain things for granted, and for other people not to take us for granted. And the only way for us to do that is to have the self-confidence and the strong belief and sense of worth to speak our minds and speak our truth and say, this isn't working for me. I love you. This isn't working for me. Because I told him, I said, I feel like what the eclipse season and the retrograde seasons do is they keep popping back the things, right? Because we get to that irritation thing again, where it's like, oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I can run all the way to Texas and back, and my daughter never could. From Steel Magnolias, right? It's like, because Malin, her character, Sally Field's character, was always like, I'm fine. Oh no, it's all good. My Southern charm, and I'm just gonna let everything, whatever, and I'm fine. But then we get to a point where like, we are not fine. Okay, we got another card. I was like, I'm done. It's 45. Number 34, which is also the number 7. Open the third eye to strengthen intuition. So, spirit, heavenly assistance from your angels and guides. We need the insight. Ask them to help you with your third eye, because it's time for us to have the self-confidence and get the achievement. We've been working hard for this. Even if this is your first time with me, like, you obviously look at these readings, or you know what I mean? Like, spirit wanted those words to be next to each other. But we're not going to achieve what we want. We're not going to have this happy world. Like, look at Alder and I said, it's like, we needed to have this conversation again before we move into this house. I go, because even if we move up there, I go, do you think it's going to make it any better? Because now I have more room and a house and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, even when things get together, you know what I mean? Even when the kitchen finally gets installed and all that, whatever, when it's a beautiful running house, I'm still going to have a rough day sometimes. And if he acts like that, I go, it's going to get to a point where I'm going to be like, you know what? I would rather be alone. And I said, you either get to the bottom of that and work on it, I said, or it just means we're not right for each other. My ex-husband and I we were friends before we got together. It's a long story, but we were friends for years after we divorced too. So our friendship was almost 20 years long, and we were only together for almost 10 years between marriage and dating and everything like that. So all I can tell you is that sometimes we need to hear harsh things. And he said, do you remember when you would beg me to like hold you or be affectionate with you or whatever? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, that should have just been natural. He's like, I thought I was broken. I thought it was just me. Cause like his family was like that too. He came from a very hard background where, his mother wasn't very affectionate, physically. And so he said, no, he goes, now with his now wife, he's like, I feel that with her. Like, he's like, I want to help her. I want to take care of her. He's like, all the women he had been with, he thought it was him. He thought he was broken. And then he shared that with me, and I was strong enough to take it. And I said, I understand. And I said, thank you. You know what? I go, thank you for sharing that with me, because I was starting to think it was just me and I was unlovable. And he's like, no, it's just that when you're with the wrong person, and that's what I was trying to tell my husband today. I said, honey, I go, it's literally one of two things in our situation that I read from spirit. And that is, it's like, this is what my intuition is telling me in my relationship. I'm like, it's either that you need to work through some trauma so that you can open your heart chakra and bring the love back in, heal it, amethyst, rose quartz, heal it. Or I'm not the right person for you, and we need to love each other enough to let each other go. I said, because she's out there waiting for you, and he's out there waiting for me, or they, whoever we end up with. I don't know. Just because we've been heterosexual doesn't mean, who knows? And I said, that's when I think the maturity comes, is when you realize that sometimes things come in cycles and in circles, and ignorance is bliss, right? If we just keep pretending like it's not bothering us, if we just keep letting it go, if we don't change it, it won't change. I have high hopes for us. I really do. I think when we get in the house and things start flowing together, because there was a magical spark between us over the summer that was like when we first met. And so I'm hoping that that will come back. But in the interim, you know, we've both, this whole experience has just really broke us down. So obviously, I'm not going to judge him for that. I'm just saying that the things that I'm longing for, that's just an innate thing, no matter what you're going through. If anything, we support each other when we're at our darkest moment, right? When we're both like, I've had enough of this. I can't do this anymore. You know, I don't want to do this anymore. That's when we should be able to support each other the most, not push each other aside or tell each other that what we think or feel or believe is wrong. Use your insight, your intuition, as I will do the same for mine, as we build our self-confidence, as we come back to meeting our higher selves, so that we can gain that achievement here. We didn't come here to play small. We came to win the award, accolade, or contract. And this has been coming up a lot for us, you guys. So that means it's coming. Whatever this is for each of us individual, whatever it is we've been looking for, you know, like, I know it, like our house it's right here. We're almost there, but we need to get through this last bit of shit. All right, you guys, I love you so much. 4555, another angel number. This was a long one today. Maybe we'll do something shorter for tomorrow. I have recorded an episode called Ritual, and I don't know which day it's going to be. I think it's going to be tomorrow, but I don't know for sure. So either way, but like I said, I still do them with you. I still watch it with you, and we'll still do the same practice. So just when you watch it, know that I will be doing it with you. And I did it last week too. Okay, you guys, until next time, take really good care of yourselves and each other. I love you so, so much, and so does Spirit. Keep on keeping on. We got this. Till tomorrow. Blessed be. Oh.